Aren't you tired of just existing? Of living in draft mode, waiting for your real life to finally begin? Because let's be honest, most people are alive, but they're not feeling anything. They wake up, eat, work, sleep, repeat. No presence, no pleasure, no meaning. And the scariest part? They call that normal. They pretend everything's fine while numbing themselves with cheap distractions, scrolling endlessly, swallowing routine, drowning in commitments that make zero sense. And they still say that's what it means to be an adult. But there's something inside you that knows this is wrong, that feels something's missing, that wants more, that craves to live on fire. Having a lust for life doesn't mean smiling all the time. It means feeling fully alive in every moment. It's about reclaiming your vital energy, your existential drive, your power to act. And no, that doesn't come from money, success, or status. It comes from awareness, from presence, from a freedom to be who you are without apologizing for it. The life you want isn't waiting in the future. It's hiding in the now you keep ignoring. And as long as you keep waiting for the perfect scenario, you'll keep postponing what you could already be feeling. In this video, I'll show you how to break out of zombie mode and fall back in love with life. No cliches, no fluff, just the raw truth no one ever dared to tell you. And when it hits you, you won't want to exist out of duty anymore. You want to live with fire, with intensity, with passion. Having a lust for life isn't about jumping out of bed yelling, "Today's gonna be amazing." That's just the caffeine talking. The real passion runs deeper. It's that silent force that keeps you going even when nothing looks pretty. It's the existential drive that still pulses through you in the middle of chaos. It's the unshakable feeling that you're exactly where you need to be, even when everything around you feels off. It's that spark in the eyes of someone who's realized life doesn't have to be perfect to be lived with true enthusiasm. A lot of people mistake this power to act for hype or toxic positivity. But it's not about being happy all the time. It's about knowing there's a flame inside you, even when the world around you feels ice cold. It's the life philosophy of someone who chose to live with purpose, not just survive on autopilot. You want a practical example? Wake up every day and ask yourself one simple question. What can I create today that makes me feel alive? This kind of reflection shifts the way we see the ordinary. It turns things like getting caught in the rain into a sacred moment. It makes hearing an old song feel like a portal to your soul. It gives you philosophical pride, even while washing dishes, because everything can be lived with meaning when we truly show up. And no, it has nothing to do with magic. It has everything to do with presence. In fact, there are people who've been alive for decades, but have never actually been here. And that brings us to the second point. Some people move through life as if they're just waiting for it to be over, and they don't even realize it. Wake up, eat, work, sleep, repeat. But living with awareness? That's something else entirely. It's like a light flicks on inside you, and suddenly, even the ordinary tastes different. The life philosophy that flips that switch doesn't offer comfort. It shatters illusions. It provokes. It shakes you to your core, and it shows just how insane it is to waste the now. Because deep down, that's what this is all about. Stopping the performance of life and becoming the protagonist, with everything that comes with it. Pain, pleasure, uncertainty, and a raw enthusiasm for existence. That kind of presence has grit. It's made of hard choices, deafening silences, a kind of courage that doesn't pose, but shows up, especially when no one's watching. It's choosing not to follow the crowd, even if that costs you approval. It's taking care of your mental health instead of keeping up appearances on Instagram. It's trading the noise of distractions for the sound of your own heartbeat. And no, that's not easy, but it's real. And those who live with that kind of intensity know the value of every second. Because they feel, because they bleed, because they're done existing in draft mode. They want to live fully, with vital energy and a deep, burning lust for life. And that kind of awareness doesn't come from motivational quotes or viral videos. It's born the moment you stop running from yourself. When you look in the mirror and finally say, "I'm tired of pretending this is what living looks like." That's when everything begins to shift. You start asking, why do I do what I do? Who am I trying to impress? What actually makes my chest burn with life? And from that moment on, you start digging deeper. You leave behind the shallow surface of autopilot and begin to dive into your own power to act. And in that dive, the great thinkers, the ones who explore desire, purpose, and the freedom to be, become your compass. Spinoza believed that everything that lives strives to preserve and expand itself. That's the power to act. And once you understand that, you start to see something crucial. Chronic sadness isn't just an emotion. It's a blockage of action. Some people spend years waiting to feel better before doing anything, when in truth, the secret is the opposite. Do something, and then the feeling comes. Getting out of bed, writing a single page, taking a walk at sunset. These small acts can reignite your desire to live. Vital energy doesn't fall from the sky. It's born the moment you choose to move. It's not in the thought, it's in the gesture that the enthusiasm for existence begins to bloom. Nietzsche warned us, he who has a why can endure anyhow. But the problem? Most people are living without a why, on autopilot, dimmed, repeating soulless days. And what kills us isn't pain, it's the absence of meaning. Existential motivation is born when you make peace with discomfort, when you accept that living with purpose takes work. It demands responsibility over your choices and your emptiness. A vivid life isn't light all the time, but it's real, it's warm, it's full of beautiful scars that tell stories. Want something practical? Grab a notebook and write this down. What makes me feel alive? Read it every day until you find the courage to live the answer. Schopenhauer, darker and more acidic, said human desire is an endless source of suffering. And he wasn't wrong, but even he saw a crack of clarity. When you understand your desire, you're no longer ruled by it. You transform it. So yes, the reflection on life must pass through pain, but not to drown you, to open you, to tear you apart inside. Just enough to make room for something new to be born. Sometimes the will to act only comes after you've hit rock bottom. But maybe that's a blessing, because from the bottom, there's only one direction left, up. And once you start climbing that inner abyss, you don't come back the same. You return hungry to live, burning with a lust for life. And maybe that's what finally lets you see the hidden beauty, even in the most unlikely moments. There's a massive difference between surviving and living with meaning, and almost no one talks about it. Valuing experience means stopping the habit of treating life as just a means to an end, and starting to treat it as the end itself. It's not about waiting for the perfect trip, the ideal love, or the dream job. It's about allowing yourself to feel, right here, right now, even in the chaos. It's about tasting the present moment like the last sip of wine before the party ends. People who live this way don't need fireworks to feel complete. Sometimes it's just a long hug, a sunset scene from a bus window, or a well-timed silence that saves the day. That's what presence looks like. That's philosophy coming alive in real time. Apathy, on the other hand, is sneaky. It settles in slowly, quietly. First, you lose the light in your eyes. Then, you stop hearing your deepest desires. Until one day, you wake up and realize you've become a ghost of yourself. But there's still time. There's always time. Escaping apathy starts with symbolic acts. Taking a different route to work. Listening to a new song. Writing a letter you'll never send. It's about provoking the mind, moving the body, stretching the soul. When you take small actions with intention, you start reclaiming your desire to live. And that has a name. Vital energy, power to act, philosophical pride, and yes, a deep, raw, unapologetic lust for life. The search for a meaningful existence isn't some luxury reserved for the enlightened. It's the urgency of those who are done pretending, done with lukewarm relationships, with colorless routines, with goals that don't light up their heart. Living with purpose isn't about waiting for a divine mission to fall from the sky. It's about creating meaning, even in what no one else sees. It's about turning obligations into opportunities for presence. It's about turning your life into a raw, unfinished, but beautiful work of art. And when you begin to live this way, everything changes. The way you eat, speak, breathe, love, everything gains texture, body, soul. And in that awakening, something starts to stir inside you. A call, a movement, an almost uncontrollable urge to break through the limits of your own skin. And finally, live, now tell me this. Are you going to keep dragging yourself through a lukewarm life? Or are you going to choose to live with fire? Because at the end of the day, no one's going to hand you the meaning of your life wrapped up in a box. You create it. You decide whether today is just another day, or a chapter worthy of the story you actually want to live. And if something in all of this stirred something inside you, it means the seed is already trying to grow. And you know what it needs? Action. Not more reflection, not more waiting, but movement. So, what are you going to do with everything you just felt here? Pretend it was nothing? Or turn it into attitude? Are you going to wait for the perfect Monday? Or start today, even without motivation, even with fear, even if it's messy and imperfect? Because that's what it means to live intensely, to stumble, to start over, to feel, to fall, to rise, but never to stop being fully alive. If this video woke something up in you, drop a comment below. What are you going to change starting now? And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because if you want to keep diving deep into powerful, life-shifting reflections, you belong here. Let's walk this journey together. With life philosophy, daily inspiration, and an unapologetic lust for being alive.